After spending almost a year in New Zealand now, I think it's about time that we did the How Expensive is New Zealand video. I wrote down some prices for you. If you're going to New Zealand, then probably one of the biggest questions you have is how expensive are things? How much are things going to cost me? Well, I'm here to answer that. I'm going to run through some of the most popular expenses that you're going to be facing in this rather expensive country. First off, let's talk about visas. Now, I'm not going to go into how much a visa costs for every different country that you're coming from, so I'm going to leave the link down below where you can go and check at how much the working holiday visa costs, the tourist visa costs, business visas, all that. It's going to be down below. There's no point me running through because for what it cost me in the UK will be different to what it'll cost you in America, for example. Okay, so let's jump onto your biggest expense in New Zealand, which is accommodation. Getting a shared dormitory in a hostel will put you back around $25 to $35 per night. FYI, I'm using New Zealand dollars when I'm talking here. If you're staying in a hostel and you want a double room, then they'll normally come in at around $70 to $150 per room per night. Then you've got your other option of camping, which is either free, which is called freedom camping, or you can pay up to $25 for a site. And then your other popular option is Airbnb, and the listings on there range anywhere between $30 and $500. So I use Hostel World to book all my hostels. For camping, we haven't done any camping. Just go onto Google, type in camping sites and the location you want in New Zealand, and then obviously Airbnb, link down below with a $30 off coupon, just, you know, why not? Did we? Oh yeah! Sorry, I just got informed we did camp in Piha in Auckland on the beach over Christmas. Thank you! Let's go on to food and drink. The biggest supermarkets in New Zealand are Countdown, New World, and then in some smaller towns in New Zealand you've got Foursquare. Selection in Foursquare is a little on the stingy side and it's a bit more expensive. But Countdown and New World, oh, and also Pack and Save. I'm very prepared for this video. Let's run through a few of the essentials that backpackers love to have when they go to the supermarket. A pack of pasta will cost you around 85 cents. A jar of pasta sauce will be about $2.50. A cheap loaf of bread for about $1. And a kilo of bananas, just for argument's sake, is between $2 and $4 depending on the season. But what backpacker life would be complete without a trip to the bottle shop? So a bottle of wine, the cheapest one they normally do in the shops over here, about $7. A bit like Paint Stripper, but it'll get you through. And a case of 24 beers, you're looking at a minimum of $30. If you fancy drinking out in a pub, then expect to pay around 10 New Zealand dollars for a pint and around $8-9 for a glass of house wine. If you love coffee like I do, then an espresso coffee from a little coffee shop will set you back anywhere between $3.50 and $5. If you plan on eating out in a restaurant, then there are a lot of like $15 meal specials that they have at lunchtime, but in general you're looking for a sit-down meal between $20 and $30 for a main. Here's some backpacker tips for eating. Pizza Hut. If you've been to Australia and New Zealand, you know what I'm gonna say. It is by far the most popular backpacker meal in these countries because you can get a decent pizza from Pizza Hut for $5 every day of the week. And in Australia, I don't think it is every day of the week, but New Zealand, it is. Or if you fancy a really nice pizza, then Hell's Pizza, which is scattered all over New Zealand, is super nice, and you're paying anything between $17 and $20 for but it's a big pizza. So if you fancy something a little nicer, Hells. Let's look at transportation. If you plan on hiring a car out here, we normally use rent-a-dent, and depending on the location, you pick up the car, and obviously if you pick up in one and drop off in the other, lots of different factors in there, but normally it comes out at around $30 to $50 per day without any additional insurance. Here's a top tip: always check how many kilometers you get to use. A lot of places you get unlimited kilometers, but some you don't, so check. Hiring a camper van is super expensive and can set you back over $100 per day. You can get someone like Wicked Campers, but I think they're gonna have to go out of business soon. If you haven't, just type in Wicked Campers controversy into Google, you'll see why. Hiring camper vans is super expensive. You'll be guzzling a lot of fuel, but you'll also have your accommodation in there. But we kind of figured out that the amount of fuel some of them guzzle and the amount you're paying kind of works out the same as staying in a hostel and hiring just a standard car. Now, we've been traveling around New Zealand, primarily we're using Naked Bus. So we have the pass, and I'm going to do a video on how to use a Naked passport because we have like a 17 trip pass. Naked Bus will be changing it all up, how it works, and I've got the lowdown, the latest information. So watch out for that video if you plan on traveling New Zealand by bus, because we'll be getting to that, don't worry. But through Naked Bus, you can get $1 fares if you book in advance, and anything up to $60 is the most I've seen. But again, I'll link Naked Bus down below. You've also got Kiwi Experience and Intercity. Normally it's better if you're doing a massive trip and you know you're going to be using the bus a lot to buy a pass. But again, I will talk about the passes that Naked Bus do later. Hitchhiking is huge in New Zealand, and you can watch us do it if you fancy it. We gave it a try. So popular in New Zealand and completely free. You've then got domestic flights if you need to travel like that. I mean, I don't recommend it, but you can. Some places like Air New Zealand and Jetstar might have flash sales of like dollar flights and stuff, not including baggage, but in general you're paying between $30 and $60 for a domestic flight somewhere. The ferry between Wellington and Picton and Wellington, i.e. the North and South Island, and getting across is $65 per person per way. And then if you want to buy your own car over here, then here's the down low. If you want to get a decent run around, something that isn't going to break down immediately, then you're looking at putting away around 5 grand New Zealand dollars. That's why we didn't buy a car. New Zealand has no car manufacturers. I'll let that sink in. They do not manufacture cars in New Zealand. None. Zero. Everything is an import here, so they are so expensive. Scott has a ton of tips on this, so if you have any questions, leave them down below, and I'm sure he will help you out in the comments section. Yeah, you gotta have a good chunk of disposable income for that one. And finally, I'm talking about activities, so I've got a list of random activities we have done in New Zealand and how much they cost. They cost a lot. Don't forget, New Zealand is like the land of free activities. There are mountains, there are hiking, there is tramping, there is this, there is that. It's just beautiful here, so you can do things for free. You can go on long walks, go to the beach, climb a mountain, you know? If you fancy doing some adrenaline sports, because that's what New Zealand's all about, then here are your prices. Do a bungee jump in Queenstown is $275. To do the shot over jet, and you can watch our video on the shot over jet, that's $135. The Auckland War Museum, which is really big and really worth it, but that's $25 per entry. Kayak hire in Wanaka was $15 per hour. Parasailing is around $100 in Queenstown. Bike hire is around $30 per day, but varies place to place, but not by much. And the Milford Sound cruise we took was $70 for a 2-hour cruise. So there you go. That is a very brief overview of how much things are going to cost you. I hope that helps you out with your budgeting. Let me know down below what I've missed, if you've got any more questions on how much things cost. But those are your overalls, those are your general kind of expenses, because it's so expensive here. Oh my god. Can't wait to get to the Philippines, but I love you soon. You're fine. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, all at Psycho Traveller. We're putting up a lot of videos at the moment, summing up our time in New Zealand. So if you're coming to New Zealand, you need some inspiration, check out all my vlogs. I have a ton of them. Or if you need some advice, then stick around, because I've got a load of videos planned to help you out. Don't forget to subscribe, keep up to date with all my travels, and get some advice as well. And I will see you tomorrow, probably. Standard-ish, but you know I can never promise. Bye.